Now, you can't have a conversation about the greatest dunkers in the history of basketball without the name Dominique Wilkins. In part 2 of our Inside the Game sit-down with a human highlight film, he talks about his legendary slam dunk contests and what fans can expect from the Atlanta Hawks this season. Let's watch this. Two-time slam dunk champion, but should be three. Four. It should be four. But here's my point. You mentioned that four. Multiple times you joined. I remember the first time you said you really joined because Dr. J was in it and you just wanted to watch.
I didn't even really try to compete, you know.
But why is it that players don't join even once? The big stars don't join you. You guys join multiple times.
They got so many things they're doing All-Star Weekend, you know, because these guys are now brands. They're, corporations.
Okay.
And so maybe they're protecting that. But I think the other thing is that nobody wants to know who the best is.
The best at any end, at dunking.
In that contest.
In that contest. Yeah. So does that mean from a competitive standpoint, they were not as competitive as you guys back in the day?
Well, I think as a competitor, I'm going to compete against anybody.
Right.
Win or lose.
Correct.
I'm going to compete. But I don't think a lot of guys want to go down there.
Yeah, right. They don't want to lose. You guys didn't mind that because you were...
Well, it ain't all about winning or losing. The fact that the people are talking about our dunk contest 34 years later.
Sure.
Can
you still dunk?
On Friday. I need a week to warm up.
But you can still. Is it still 2 foot though?
Only 2 foot.
Only 2 foot? Okay. I wanted to ask that. Okay. Obviously, you are a legend from Atlanta, but you were drafted by Utah. Did you ever imagine during those times, if you were with Utah and you were with Stockton, you were with Malone, you would have gotten a couple of titles? Is that a thought process?
If you played with Ross, it's no question.
Jerry Sloan as a coach?
Yeah. No question I would got more than a couple of rings, But hey, life is not that way. I ended up where I wanted to be.
Right.
And that was Atlanta, and I have no regrets.
Okay, sure. Especially with that statue out there at the State Farm Arena now. The NBA as an organization is the best in recognizing, celebrating, and elevating the legends. We see that during the All-Stars. We see that all throughout the year. They have the Legends Night. Does that mean anything to you that the NBA, there's a reverence to the legends?
That started with David Stern.
Right.
And Adam Silver just took it to another place.
Right.
So, it's always been a part of their history.
Right.
And I don't know too many sports who does it that way.
Yeah, exactly.
And I got to applaud what Adam Silver, those guys have continued to recognize and market because that's part of our history.
Correct.
Like these young guys who are playing now, they're going to be part of somebody else's history.
Correct.
So it's that cycle that continues to be a part of NBA history and a part of the game, and now keeping everybody recognizable, taking care of our family. That's what it is. The NBA family is a big and small family.
Right. I get it. But yeah, I love the reverence that they have for the legends, which brings me to the point now that you kind of made with the current players, and some not recognizing the greatness of some of the legends, or maybe downplaying it a little bit without citing certain examples. You know what I mean?
I don't think a lot of guys look at the history like we did. Guys before us.
Okay.
But you had the great players. The great players, they understand it. LeBron's and the KDs, and the Steph Curry, all those great players of the day, Giannis and all these guys, they recognize it. I mean, last year I had Ball Boy come to me and he said, Giannis would love to have your autograph on his jersey. So there's a lot of guys who still respect us. It's just the guys.
It's the great ones, too.
Yeah, just the guys who don't educate themselves again. There's a lot of times we walk in the building and the player don't even know who you are.
Right.
But the great ones or the good players, they know. They know.
Any young one who consulted you seriously about NBA basketball lifestyle or whatever?
Well, you know what? It's just our own players, because I'm around them every day, like the Trae Young, the Dejounte Murray, John Collins before he left. I mean, so it's a lot of guys through the past, like the Joe Johnsons and the Al Horfords.
Even Shaq back in the day, right?
Yeah, I was his mentor.
Yeah, exactly. You were mentored to Shaq back in the day,
you
right?
know. And that's why to this day we're such great friends because we understand history.
Right.
Guys before us who've made it possible for us to be here. A lot of these guys don't.
Right. Speaking of history, a lot of people mention about Game 7. You and Larry, you had a lot of battles. I know your first game was against him, and then even towards the end, you know, playoff battles, championship, not championship, but major battles in Boston too. But is there any game, and everybody knows that already, or if not, you should, but is there any game that is not being mentioned that in your personal history that one ranks up there, that matchup ranks up there, that doesn't get mentioned a lot? You've had the Larry Bird matchup, you've had the MJ matchup. Is there anything that we're missing out here since we want to educate?
There's so many great games that,
for you,
that I play, and it's hard to really identify one that stands out more. Because I had a lot of great games, man. I had a lot of great games. Against Chicago, you know, I had 57, and it was a tough game. And I remember coming back.
In Chicago?
No, in Atlanta. I remember going back to Chicago, and he dropped 60. So, you know, we've had great battles. That's just one of many battles. You know, battles with the Portland Trailblazers, Clyde Drexler.
Oh, yeah.
Battles in New York Knicks.
Yeah.
Philadelphia. I mean, it's just so many games. Hard to put one up there higher than them.
Yeah, you guys should educate yourselves with this one. All right, a couple more questions before we let you go. The broadcasting part of it, because obviously this is a personal question for me. I do the games. I've been doing the games here for close to a couple of decades also. Been part of some of the NBA trips, so we've seen you there. You've been doing a lot of games for Atlanta. Has it changed your view of the NBA or NBA players or media in general now that you're also on that side?
Well, no, it hasn't changed my view at all.
How do you keep it fresh for you?
The thing is, you got to make sure you talk about the what, when, and why something happened on the floor. And how do you do that? You got to be able to interact with the players before something happens. See how a guy is doing, feeling. And you look at different matchups and what matchups have a more advantage. So being around the game over 40-some years, it's just easy for me to identify stuff like that.
So that keeps it fresh for you as the game evolves. You evolve with it.
I still love the game.
Right, of course.
So that's the difference.
All right. Speaking of love, you've got a lot of love for Atlanta, and you're part of the organization. What are we looking at for Atlanta for not just this year as the season is about to open, but in the next couple of years with the great players that you have right now? So you tell the Atlanta fans out there.
See, we got a lot of young players.
Okay.
That will hopefully have time together for the next 2, 3, 4 years. Because, you know, guys, a lot of times they move a little bit early.
Right.
But we got a nice nucleus, man. I'm looking forward to seeing the guys play the first couple games, and of course I travel with them.
Is there any projection? I know the East is tough, but for this year, what are you thinking?
It's the thing I tell people this. Don't look too far ahead.
Okay.
Take care of business at hand.
Okay.
And if you can build chemistry and guys can get used to winning early, don't tell them where you can go.
Dominique Wilkins, ladies and gentlemen, it's an absolute pleasure.
My pleasure, bro.
Happy shopping, and welcome back to the Philippines.
Thank you. I appreciate it.
No problem.
My man.